Welcome back. You're watching Global Eye. China's stranglehold over supply of rare earth magnets, a critical component used for manufacturing electric vehicles, has caused concerns among Indian auto companies. Leading automakers have warned that the issue has the potential to impact production massively if it is not addressed on war footing. So what are the options available for Indian EV makers? Puneet Gupta of S&P Global Mobility is with us. Puneet, first of all, which automakers do you believe will get more impacted in the month of June and July?
Right. Hi, Parikshit. Nice to be here. So I think one thing is very clear, auto industry is going for another crisis, right? So we have multiple crises. I think you talked about semiconductor crisis, supply chain crisis, COVID crisis, and I think now rare earth material crisis. So I think though, as per our analysis, we clearly see, that June we may skid off, right? So June may be a month which will go in tensions, but, July is a month, where we may see production halts, and where, I think industry will start panicking. And already I think we know that this year, when we started the year, every OEM, was talking about a tepid growth, a very low single digit growth. And now, any production halts, can really be linked, to a negative growth, where industry may be heading to. So now, if you talk about OEMs, so one thing is very clear that, obviously the OEMs which are large manufacturing large volumes, so they will be more probable, to default. So it may be players like TVS, which may be on radar, or maybe players like Maruti Suzuki. But we personally feel, that July is a month, where we will really see, things becoming more, tricky for the industry.
All right. Okay, so July would be when things become tricky. Is there alternative right now in terms of getting these rare earth magnets? Are the suppliers only in China, but are they there in Vietnam for that matter, Australia, Japan, Ukraine, United States? Are there any processing facilities there from where magnets can be procured?
Yeah, so I think generally, magnets, so companies have been, like if I talk about Tier 1, Tier 2 suppliers, they have been keeping such inventories, for 3 to 6 months. But then, if you really talk about, there can be even one supplier, who may be working, or who may have low inventories. So I think obviously right now there is a clear rush, clear race, towards procuring even sub-assemblies, for example, from other countries, if possible. So I think we may see those things happening, but I think the best solution, would be, quick diplomatic talks, and maybe then, obviously our supporting associations, rushing toward China, and supporting, and expediting the whole consignment. So, but I think obviously even if there are alternatives, you may not be able to, immediately incorporate them in your components because they may lead to low performance, which is critical. And also you need a lot of homologation before you really get on and change your raw materials.
Right. Puneet, but it's not just EVs. Rare earth magnets are also used in ICE components. Certain components are common to ICE and EVs, and some are there only in ICE for that matter. They're also used in speedometers. Speedometers are used everywhere. So not just electric vehicles, but even in terms of ICE cars, ICE EV, ICE two-wheelers and three-wheelers, what's the kind of impact that you are estimating?
Yeah, so I think if we see, 7 rare earth elements which have been where the restriction is there, for example, cerium, right, clearly impacts the catalytic converters. If you talk about terbium, really impacts the lighting, because that gives the color. So I think every of these rare earth elements, impact different category of components. So you are absolutely right. It is not only the EVs, which will fare this restriction, right? It will be across segments, across category of vehicles. And, but yeah, one thing what we can clearly say that, vehicles which are having higher variants, the models with higher variants will obviously be more probable, in terms of disruption. So primarily, here how we see is that OEMs may be looking for, restructuring their model mix, or really rethinking around what can be done with the variant mix, because that's a clear strategy, because, is it really make sense to make Swift or focus on Swift Desire, for example, so, or focusing on mid-end variants or low-end variants, rather than high-end variants. So I think all those equations, have to come in picture, and obviously, as I said, sub-assemblies can also play a critical role.
All right. Thank you very much, Puneet, for joining us on the program. Clearly a big worry for the auto industry right now. And even the ICE industry, as you're pointing out, will have to start making choices on how they want to prioritize production for the highest amount of revenue and not to lose out on profits as well. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Global Eye. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to CNBC TV 18. News continues on the other side.